Hey, so just a question for you. I don't know if you saw in the tabloids, but Bill Belichick with the Patriots is like dating that 24-year-old girl, and he's in his 70s. And I guess that's one example. But the question I have for you is, why do you think society shames men so much for dating younger women? And I think the second part to that is it doesn't even have to be that age disparity, but even like a 10-year difference, like a guy in his mid 30s sees a beautiful girl in their young 20s.
Mm.
Why does society look so bad on the guy and say, God, he's such a terrible person, when to me that seems
Why do
totally
you
normal?
care? Serious question. Why do you care?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I just want to know, like, why um just men have that challenge, and it's just, you're saying move on, just don't even worry about it or waste time thinking about it.
People are going to judge and criticize you regardless. And hate only ever comes from beneath you. Nobody ever gets jealous of a loser. They're getting jealous of a more seasoned gentleman with a younger woman because he has a younger woman. Beautiful young women are valuable, and they have something that they probably want that they can't get. And because he's done something with his life, or he's captivating, or he's wealthy beyond means, um, they want to point and sputter and shame him. Like, why do you get with a woman your own age? And it's usually women his own age that aren't finding guys because they're choosing younger, hotter women that are pissed off. So again, I go back to the question: why do you care?
Yeah. Yeah. And one more follow-up question for you. In your book, you talk about when dating women, or if you're considering marriage, if you even want to do that,
Mhm.
to be with somebody who has a similar income level or even net worth. So
Yeah,
let's say 10 years from now, being 35, get to a point of $5 to $10 million net worth.
yeah,
It might be hard to find a young, beautiful woman who has that
you
kind
won't,
of money unless
you won't.
she's a boss babe and works in corporate America.
Yeah.
And that's also kind of not ideal either. So, how do you kind of navigate that landscape of not wanting to be with a boss babe, but at the same time be with somebody who's at the same income level as you to protect yourself?
Yeah, so that's just taking a card out of women's playbook, right? Is just using their hypergamous nature of marrying across and up only. And you're just setting a line in the sand to say, I'm not going to get myself involved with a woman that makes less than me. The reason why guys do that is because family law is hostile, and it divides your assets when the knot is untied, which will happen 50% of the time. The other 50% of people that stay together, only 3% live in bliss and only 12% are still in love. So the rest of them are miserable. So the chances of you having to give up your shit, or a chunk of your shit, is pretty significant. So guys that are, it usually happens when guys hit like 40 or so. They're like, I'm only going to date a woman that's like squared away like I am. Like if I make $125,000 a year and I'm worth $1 million, I'll only consider her on a long-term basis because she makes about the same and she has about the same in the way of assets. Because if it doesn't work out, I'm not going to lose half my shit. Um, the chances of you finding that is not that high. The other thing too, as you alluded to, is you're going to deal with boss babe type of girls mostly. It's not a question of if, it's a question of to what extent are they going to be difficult to deal with in a long-term basis in a relationship, because they've had to climb the corporate ladder, they got the degrees, they might have been divorced, they have had several relationships, they might have baggage that they haven't resolved. So they don't have a lot of need or want for a man. There's 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 an epidemic today of older women that are like reciting the verse, "I don't need a man. He's stingy." You know, I can't remember how many stories I've heard lately where uh, women over the age of 50 are getting divorced, like leaving their husbands. And then when I ask why, I hear something like, "Oh, well, he was stingy," or something like that, which to me translate to he's got a budget that she didn't like. And because she has access to half of his shit now when they get divorced, she can blow it on whatever she wants. Right.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like, again, I go back to who cares and why does it matter? It's like if you're doing your thing, you're on a purpose, on your grind, you're dating, a pretty great woman comes along, you start vetting her over a period of time, you vet her against my red flags, you see how she is over a few years. Is she a compliment to your life? Is she useful? Is she always respectful? Then you can entertain something further beyond that. But if you're like 35, 40 plus, you're making good money, you've got assets, got a good social network. You don't want to invite some bimbo into your life. You don't want to invite some chick that's like just there for your money. right? You want her to genuinely have desire for you and only spend time with them on a long-term basis, because anything else is a waste of your time.
All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.